I am outside Baltimore. It was good. Without any assistance or guidance from you, I have loved you assiduously for 8 months, 2 weeks, and a day. I have been stood up 4 times. I've left 7 packages on your doorstep, 40 poems, 2 plants, and 3 handmade note cards I left town so I could send to you. Have been no help to me on my job. You call me at 3 in the morning on weekdays so I could drive 27.5 miles across the bay before I go to work. Charmin', but you are no assistance. I want you to know this was an experiment, to see how selfish I could be, if I would really carry on to snare a possible lover, if I was capable of debasing myself for the love of another, if I could stand not being wanted when I wanted to be wanted, and I cannot. So with no further assistance and no guidance from you, I am ending this affair. This note is attached to a plant I've been watering since the day I met you. You may water it your damn self. So come on. If you know him, you have wanted it. You know these things happen. A rapist is always to be a stranger, to be legitimate, someone you never saw, a man with obvious problems. Or a strong mother. But if you've ever been seen in public with him, danced one dance, kissed him goodbye lightly, these men, friends of ours who smile nice, stay employed, and take us out to dinner, who make elaborate Mediterranean dinners and let the art ensemble carry all ethical burdens, while they invite a couple of friends over to have you, are suffering from latent rapist bravado, and we are left with the scars. Women relinquish all personal rights in the presence of a man who apparently could be considered a rapist. Then the stranger we always thought it would be. Because it turns out the nature of rape has changed. We could even have him over for dinner and get raped in our own houses by invitation, a friend. Orange butterflies in aqua sequins, ensconced between slight bosoms, silk roses darting from behind her ears, the passion flower of Southwest Los Angeles. Meander down Hoover Street past dark shuttered houses where women from Louisiana shelled peas round 3 and sent their sons whistling to the store for fatback and black-eyed peas. She glittered in heat and seemed to be looking for rides when she wasn't, and absolutely eyed every man who wasn't lame white or nodding out. She let her thighs slip from her skirt. Crossing the street, she slowed to be examined, and she never looked back to smile or acknowledge a sincere, "Hey, mama," or meet the eyes of someone purposely finding something to do in her direction. She was sullen. And the rhinestones etching the corners of her mouth suggested tears, fresh kisses that had done no good. She always wore her stomach out, lined with small, iridescent feathers. The hairs round her navel seemed to dance. She didn't let on. She knew from behind her waist was aching to be held, the pastel ivy drawn on her shoulders to be brushed with lips and fingers. Smelling of honey and Jack Daniels, she was hot. A deliberate coquette who never did without what she wanted. And she wanted to be unforgettable. She wanted to be a memory, a wound to every man arrogant enough to want her. She was the wrath of women in shadows, finger in shades, old lace curtains, camouflage and despair and stretch marks. So she glittered honestly, delighted she was desired, and allowed those especially scheming, tactful suitors to experience her body and spirit, tearing so easily blended with theirs, and they were so happy, and lay on her lime sheets full and wet. From her tongue she kissed them reverently, even ankles, edges of beards. At 4:30 a.m. she rose and made herself a bath of dark musk oil, Egyptian crystals, and Florida water to remove his smell, to wash away the glitter, to watch the butterflies melt into suds and the rhinestones fall beneath her buttocks like smooth pebbles in the Missouri Creek. Laying in water, she became herself, ordinary. Brown braided woman with big legs and full lips, regular. Seriously intending to finish her night's work, she quickly walked to her guests, straddled on her pillows, and began, "You'll have to go on now. I've a lot of work to do, and I can't with a man around here, so here are your pants. There's coffee on the stove. It's been very nice, but I can't see you again. You got what you came for, didn't you?" And she smiled. He would either mumble curses about crazy bitches or sit dumbfounded while she repeated, "I couldn't possibly wake up with a strange man in my bed. Why don't you go home?" She could have been slapped upside the head or verbally challenged, but she never was. The ones who fell prey to the dazzle of hips painted with orange blossoms and magnolia-scented wrists had wanted no more than to lay between her sparkling thighs, and had planned on leaving before dawn. And she had been so divine, devastatingly bizarre the way her mouth fit round, and now she stood, a regular colored girl, full of the same malice, livid with indifference as a sister warned from supporting a would-be horn player or waiting by the window, and they knew. And they left in a hurry. She would gather her tinsel and jewels from the tub and lay gaily or vengeful. She stored her silk roses by her bed, and she finished writing the account of her exploit in a diary embroidered with lilies and moonstones. She placed the rose behind her ear and cried herself to sleep. My love is too complicated to have thrown back in my face. Now I know that you know I love ya, but I ain't ever gonna love you like you want me to love ya. I'm sorry. I was missing something. I sat up one night, walking a boarding house, screaming, crying, the ghost of another woman who was missing while I was missing. I wanted to jump up out of my bones and be done with myself. Leave me alone. And go on in the wind. It was too much. I fell into a numbness to the only tree I could see, took me up in her branches, held me in the breeze, made me dawn dew, that chill at daybreak. The sun wrapped me up in swinging rose light everywhere. The sky laid over me like a million men. I was cold. I was burning up. A child. And endlessly weaving garments for the moon with my tears. I found God in myself. And I loved her. I loved her fiercely.